Hello, everyone, and welcome to another in-between seasons episode of the Starfall Collective. I am your Dungeon Master tonight, Josh Suich, and I will be joined by many of my friends from St. John's and other parts of North Carolina. I am excited and ecstatic tonight to play again with two of my players' characters from Season 1, Mr. Harcourt Fenton Mudd and Thack the Thunderer. Playing Harcourt Fenton Mudd is Sir Robert Burbridge. Sir Robert, give the folks a little howdy-do with your voice so they can tell which one you are.
Hey, I'm Sir Robert, and I don't have my image up because I just had a little technical error, but while everybody else is introducing themselves, I will put my image up. Then you will know who I am and feel enlightened.
And he will be with us vocally, if not facially and bodily, until a later point.
And I am playing Harcourt Fenton Mudd, who,
that's right,
in fact, also plays me.
and Matthew Talamini, one of my college roommates from St. John's College, will be playing Thack the Thunderer. Matt, tell us a little bit about Thack. Who's Thack? Who is Thack the Thunderer?
Thack the Thunderer is a half-orc bard.
Nice.
He was a very punk rock individual, very sort of rebellious and free-willed in Season 1, but he had a sort of divine encounter near the end of Season 1 under your competent DM-ship, and since then has become a paladin of order and law.
And like
it's an interesting combination.
That's right. That's right. And we will we'll cover that in just a moment. So Harcourt, Fenton Mudd, and Thack the Thunderer accomplished what in like one sentence in Season 1?
There was something nasty going on with like a tree in this town, and we got all up in there and floated around inside the tree and fixed it. We had to kill
if I may.
There was an evil lich monster in there that we had to slay.
That's good.
There was a dire, perhaps existential threat to this major city in the Elven Empire, and it had a severe case of tree parasites.
That's
and
right.
We had a severe case of, well, as the British would say, whoopars.
So, after you guys, and I'm going to get to my other player characters, and we're going to introduce them as we go, and we're going to get to you guys, I'd say, in about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. So hang with me. Don't lose Jacob. Don't fall asleep, okay? Don't let the narcolepsy take you, okay? At the end of the last season, Thack the Thunderer started having dreams. He started getting sucked into these bizarre, seemingly day and maybe even week-long dreams where he would wake up from them and realize it was only the next day, and he felt like he had experienced a week's worth of being trapped in, say, like an office where he's boom, pff, boom, pff, boom, pff, stamping papers, where he's going through and filing things, where he's balancing weights, and he's sitting there and he's just taking away and adding sand and making these scales balance, and he's doing it for days at a time. And every now and then he feels like there's someone standing over his shoulder watching him, almost like a supervisor. And it takes you a little while. Roll me a perception check, if you will, sir.
Who is that, me or Thack?
Thack. Okay. We're going to rush forward through this in just a few seconds. Give me your result.
9.
9. Yeah, it takes you a long time. You have like months and months of these dreams until eventually you realize that a Brexilor has been standing over your shoulder, and that this person who you thought was your coworker or your boss or something in an office setting, like you're familiar with the banks, right? You've walked through a bank before. You've seen the endless rows of people counting and scribbling and stuff. This feels like that to you, right? And a Brexilor finally manages to get through your thick skull, and he's like, and Thack, listen to me. And you turn and you have a moment of lucidity, and the dream ends. And the next time this happens, you're able to keep eye contact with him for a few seconds. Eventually, through your dreams, a Brexilor begins to train you in the ways of law, bureaucracy, order, containment, balance, rigidity, the beauty,
coordination
of coordination and law. And this plants a seed deep into your heart. And where do you go to try to, express this newfound penchant for order and law and balance? To whom do you go?
The place that every orc most fears. The library.
So you go to the library, you start reading books, you start researching, and you find out. Go ahead.
I learn to read books.
You learn to read. Thank goodness you can already read Orcish musical notation. At least gives you some reference. But you learn to read, and you discover a certain paladinic order, which is one that appeals to you deeply, one that seems to call to you, one that you begin to seek out.
The Order of Harmony.
The Order of Harmony. And so you find a chapter of this Order of Harmony, and you see paladins. You see men who are, some are a little bit gone to seed and have white hair, but those are the ones who play their musical instruments most beautifully. And you actually find a group of somewhat like-minded warriors who are musicians on the side. You are a musician who seeks to become a warrior. And so they welcome you from the other side of the cloth, so to speak. And you progress with your dreams with Abrexalor, where he counsels you and mentors you and kind of nudges you in the right direction. You find yourself quickly rising through the ranks of your order, and you actually gain 5 levels, right? You were only level 5 when last we saw you.
Yes.
So tell me in just a couple of sentences, what does it look like as Thack runs around the countryside, slapping necks and cashing checks, bringing order and harmony to the world?
Well, I think we talked about a dinosaur for my mount. One of those ones with the sort of bony heads that
Absolutely.
you could ride on. Yeah, well, I got like one of those white horse blankets on it.
Right.
It's the kind of equipment that a good paladin would keep very clean, but as an orc, the whole cleanliness aspect of it is a real struggle.
Well, the natural value of the oils and the dirt, and you keep just that right balance of oil and dirt that really keeps the sheen on it. And being a leather worker yourself, you're able to make your own exotic harness for this thing.
Of course.
You make contact with a lizard trading caravan, and you're able to say some things to them, and they their frills go up and they freak out and they're like, "How do you know our ways?" He says, "Oh, I'm friends with the Shashamash Bahashalagash, Hishash Magish Mash. And they go, "Truly, you know this one who was formerly known as Hashtashash Magash, blah, blah, blah." You get the idea. And they sell you, even though they would never sell to a Gaijin normally, they sell a Pachycephalosaurus to you. You make this harness for it, and this is your trusty steed. And you even awaken this thing, which is incredible because it's got a brain the size of a walnut. But under your relationship, under your bond, as your paladinic mount, this thing grows in intelligence beyond what a Pachycephalosaurus normally would be able to have.
So I've just come from completely breaking a mining strike.
Right.
The miners tried to organize, went on strike.
And you quite literally ran through the middle of the picket line with your Pachycephalosaurus. It was just, you see children and women. Ah! Yeah.
You will be coordinated.
In the meantime, Harcourt Fitton Mudd has been enjoying a certain amount of leisure and notoriety. He is offered a minor position at the bottom rung of nobility.
Well, I wouldn't say minor. Stella always tells me there's no job minor if you enjoy it.
Right. And so eventually you're given a parcel of land over near the wetlands.
I earned a parcel of land? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, fairly close to the location of the lizard folk encampment, where Tashash got to meet the band of other lizard folk that were staying north of the city.
That's true, but it really is still very nice.
It's wetlands. It's beautiful.
It
It's,
is.
like South Georgia, North Florida, yeah, that kind of stuff.
That's right.
So,
It was drylands
Harcourt-
before I got there. I put the mud in it.
Harcourt Fenton Mudd, you are approached after several years of, running off to have adventures and coming back home and kind of playing the field and living this kind of in-between life, caught in the balance of your original relationships with the halfling network of the organization that is not even really named to the outside world, and being a minor noble in the Fujidome social scene. Eventually, though, you are approached by cousin Carnelio, who comes to you with some interesting news. He knocks at your door late one night, and you open the door to see a halfling who looks maybe just a touch like you, but is not as handsome, very stout, extremely stout individual. Like, this guy would not be comfortable walking long distances, but you see a lacquered black palanquin behind him that he has just gotten out of, and he says, Harcourt Fenton Mudd, a pleasure to see you. And he brings you close and kisses you on the cheeks and says, I bring word from the organization and from the family. We have much to discuss.
Carmelio, come on in. Out for an evening stroll, I see. Come on in.
He said, do you have rolls? I could go for something. If I'm honest, I'm a bit peckish. And just then your wife walks in the door, and seeing unannounced, unforeseen guests of clearly some wealth, how does she react? How does she respond?
Harry, what's going on at this hour?
She's shouting down from the top of the stairs with her curlers in her hair and her robe, not her nice formal gown. And
Stella,
Carmelo,
she's such a kidder. Don't worry about it, Carmelo. You come on in. She's joking with you. She expected you. She's got rolls in the oven already. Stella, get the rolls.
And he just kind of wanders off into some other wing of your house, unescorted, uninvited. And he just starts kind of looking around, and he starts pulling books, expensive, rare books off the wall. And he starts kind of, inspecting the little artifacts that you have under glass cases. And he says, you've done rather well for yourself, Mudd. I see life in Fujidome suits you well. You're able to dip your toe into the upper echelon, but remain grounded amongst your family. You remember to whom you owe your debts, do you not, Mr. Mudd?
How could I forget?
Excellent. Well, as it just so happens, we have someone in your social circle who owes a debt to us. And he produces some papers, a whole thick dossier that he hands to you. And as you open it up, one of the top pages that you see is a bunch of legal documents conscripted by barristers that represent trade guilds who have these injunctions of debt and right to collect. Very, very strong, harsh language written in big letters. And you see, by authority of the guild, of the organization, right? And so Carmelio says, Mudd, I need you to put together a team, and I need you to do it quick because we don't have much time. Duke Arlo owes the family a great debt, one that he has refused to collect. And from our intelligence, it is partly because we believe he owes too many debts to cover what he has, to cover with what he has. So we're in a bit of a race. I need you to go to his holding facility, and I need you to collect what needs to be collected to make this right, Mudd.
Well, you know what I always say. Our family is outsourced prioritization. I'm happy to apply our skills to his estate.
Excellent. This is good to hear. You will have a little bit of leeway within the rights of the conscriptions here to, take your fee as it seems fit. But I warn you to be careful. Should you take too much, you could tip the scales, and Arlo would be a fool not to come after us. So, take your cut, but be reasonable. Don't push the man too far. The most dangerous badger is the cornered one.
Certainly. You know, and to be
Where are
honest
those
with you, I'm out of the
rolls?
loot business.
Where are those rolls, by the way?
I'm
There
sure
were
that
rolls,
Stella's
right?
got them coming. She might have sent them to your car already. I don't know.
Okay. Well, and he leaves the dossier thing with you, and he pulls open a breast pocket, and he starts pulling out little biscuits, and he starts munching on them. Really, if I was you, Mud, I would pick one or two good things, keep it reasonable. You know, you don't want them coming after you. As long as you keep it reasonable, our intelligence tells us that he will want to save face and probably won't even bother,
Of course. Who's going to mention one or two things? You're in there, you see something you like. Two or three things isn't going to bother anybody. Doesn't matter at all.
Exactly. He kind of looks at you askance. He's like, right. And so he says, well, I've got the 5-course meal waiting for me at the Whistling Pig, so I'll be off. And he kind of waves his, waves his little courtesy hand gesture to you that they do in the guild, and he leaves. And you flip through this little dossier of things, and you come to a thick little section that has individual pages, and each page appears to be an item that is suspected or confirmed to be in the possession of this Duke Arlo. And as you flip through, one of them has a rather vivid drawing, in fact, a drawing of what appears to be a magical instrument in vivid blues and greens that has affectations of animation of light and energy and arcane power coming off of it. And you immediately recognize that it would be 1,000,000 to 1 odds that this magical loot belongs to anyone other than your friend Thack the Thunderer.
I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Are you seeing this? There's nobody else there. I can't believe it. I gotta go talk to Thack.
Your magical coat rack in the corner nods its head in agreement with you, as it usually does. It's a very compliant hat rack. You know, because you made contact with Thack just a few years ago, that he is working out of a certain order, a certain temple, and you have a correspondence point with him, a place that you know that he checks in with regularly, a place that even if he's not there, they would be able to get a message to him quickly. Of course, you would have to, maybe make some sort of little donation or a promise of donation or something, but I'll leave that up to you. What do you say in your letter to Thack the Thunderer to entice him to Fujidome, knowing that he would be a formidable ally in this process?
Dear Thack, it's been a long time since you've seen me, and I'm sure you miss me much. It has come to my attention recently that you have departed with your instrument that you previously held so dear. As a matter of fact, it has come to my attention also that I will soon have the ability to acquire said instrument. If you have any interest in this instrument, please come and see me. Yours and mine truly, Harcourt Fenton Mudd.
Thack the Thunderer, you receive a letter after about a week. You are out in the field, and a raven that has some amount of enchantment upon it manages to find you and drops this letter into your lap while you are leaning against your saddle, polishing your armor. Just the one spot, just the crest. You don't clean all the rest of it, just the crest right in the middle.
My guitar!
The camera zooms away with Thack on his feet, gripping my guitar.
Birds flying out of the trees.
He's in the saddle in a moment.
Yeah, we see the Pachycephalosaurus. Go ahead.
He has left behind whatever business he was engaged in is on indefinite hold as he makes his way post-haste to Fujidome.
That's right. Having just discovered that there was a group of orphans that had tied themselves to a giant tree trying to save it from being cut down by the local legally permitted logging industry, you change course And looks
I
like the
will have to
orphans might
save the
actually win
loggers
this
some other day.
one. The orphans actually win this one. Excuse me.
I'll get those orphans.
So as you ride, we see the camera kind of over Thack as he mercilessly flogs the flanks of, what's your Pachycephalosaurus's name?
Honey Badger.
Honey Badger? Okay, all right. Okay, Honey Badger. I got to write these things down or they're not real. Certainly I don't remember them. Harcourt Fit and Mud. You know that it's going to take some amount of time for Thack the Thunderer to show up on your doorstep. And you know that it's going to take more than Thack to get into this facility.
But
So
you know
who
that
is
when
it?
Thack, you know that when Thack arrives, things are going to begin to happen very quickly.
Yeah, that's right. So who is it that you go and you grab to try to even the odds of getting into this place and actually getting out?
First things first, my go-to for any kind of, let's call it discrete outsourced prioritization project, is Gilead Blackgallow.
Wow, with a name like Gilead Blackgallow, who would have thought him to be anything but on the up and up?
That's right.
I love it. Gilead Blackgallow, when someone sees you in a bar or in a tavern, what are you drinking and what do you look like? It better be apple juice, young man.
When someone walks into a bar and sees me, the first thing that they'll see is definitely the black lizard familiar that I have on my shoulder. He is also drinking. He is also sipping out of my wine glass, which, as you said, is filled with apple juice. Apple juice.
It can be apple cider as long as it's low gravity. That's okay. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wearing a one-piece suit with the usual just black vest, black tie, white undercoat, all that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
A fancy and formal gentleman. And are you a human?
I am an elf.
An elf. Okay. An Eladrin?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got, does your hair have some sort of crystalline gem-like sheen like amethyst or jasper or something? I know a lot of Eladrin have a gemstone kind of sheen to their hair and eyes.
It has that black silvery look of a polished deep mineral.
Nice, like onyx or something. I love it. Or labradorite. I love it. Okay, so Harcourt Fit and Mud, you walk into the bar and Gideon Blackgallow is there. And how do you pitch this? I'll let you guys role play the scene of Harcourt recruiting Gilead Blackgallow. Gilead Blackgallow.
Hey, Gilead.
Oh, hello. Grab a seat. I'll get you a drink.
Thank you. Listen, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You remember the last time we talked, we were out there and found some profitable ventures together. I have another venture that I'm going to be going on pretty quickly here, and I need somebody who is ready to move post-haste.
Say no more. I'll get my stuff and I'm ready to go.
Get the usual equipment, you know what we need, and we're going to... Here's what's going to happen. I can't tell you too much details now, but we're going to break into the private vault of... And I just tells them all the details.
Okay, yeah. So you, Harcourt Fit and Mud, know that you're a little bit strapped for time. So might I suggest that you invite the next few people that you want to recruit to some sort of meeting where you can pitch them all at once. Now that you've got a partner, two partners presumably, and this plan has a little bit of momentum.
Yes. Also,
we see the Pachycephalosaurus just dog tired, and it is nothing but the paladinic energies of the hit point pool that Thack is pouring into Honey Badger, giving it the energy and strength to run cross country day and night.
That's right. Harcourt, just to be full disclosure or whatever, would be remiss to not let's say, take donations from the pub patrons for his operation. He would like to do that. Doesn't want to bother them with the details. But
I thought I was bad. I've never seen anyone as opportunistic as Sir Robert Burbridge playing Harcourt Fit and Mud.
So yeah, should I roll something, see if I found any?
What
Baubles?
does he
Oh,
give
absolutely.
GM?
Roll me a perception check to see how well, or an insight check to see how well you read the potential marks of the room.
Okay.
This would be a good place for me to go up to Black Gallow there.
Okay.
So, Mr. Black Gallow, I heard you were buying people drinks. I'm next in line. My name's Flincer Goodbarrel. What do you got for me?
Well, does wine suit your tastes?
Anything. I follow where the spirits lead.
I'm going
I
to
won't.
I'm going to pull out a small canteen, also in black color, and pull out a wine glass that I just have because obviously, and I'm going to pour some
Barmaids hate him.
companion.
This one
I
simple
take the
trick
glass.
saves him 15 gold a week.
I take the glass and I pour most of it into my flask that I produce from my pocket and drink the rest.
If
And I
one were
start
to-
rambling on about a story about how I got here.
if
I've been
one were to-
wandering from land to land.
If one were to sniff this flask, would it be a veritable bug juice?
It's
of
flammable.
different- It's
Oh,
flammable.
definitely
Okay.
flammable.
Okay. All right. Okay. Excellent. Harcourt Fit and Mud, you invite two more individuals to a particular secret third location. Who are these two individuals?
They would be, an old friend. I'm getting the names correctly here.
Bog Bar Bayar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're an old friend of Bog.
Beja is what I was going to say. That's
Beja.
Sparkle, as we call her.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're an old friend of Bedge's. And then
And
a tabaxi named Slaps Hamfast, I believe.
I don't know out of character. I don't know what a tabaxi is.
It's
Cat.
you know what? When
Person.
yeah, and then Bog Bar Bayar. These three
Bugbear.
individuals show up at a particular location. Harcourt, where do you ask them to meet you? Do you invite them to your home? Do you meet them at a linen shop that's just a front?
Do I know them well? What's going on there?
You know them by reputation.
Okay.
I believe
Definitely-
you said you know Beja
Yeah.
previously,
Beja's
but
the
these
one I
other
know.
two guys.
The
Go
others
ahead.
I know by reputation. I invite everybody to the warmth of my home that I recently found deserted and broke into and decorated a little. And they all will know precisely where I live then. It's in
You know what's funny? That was actually exactly what I was going to do, and I was going to have everyone mute their mics and have them show up at this beautiful palatial location that Harcourt Fit and Mud is hosting, and only Harcourt was going to know that. But I guess that's where we are already. So, okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where they meet me. And it's a
Okay.
beautiful place. I mean, it's a well-made home.
Yeah, Lord Nobu's estate is really lovely. Thank goodness Lord Nobu is not only out of town, but out of the region.
Yeah,
And,
with his staff.
Right, yeah. His house has been shuttered.
Yeah.
Because this is just kind of one of his minor like vacation estates out in the wilderness, out in the wetlands. And so he's not even around to use it. So it's just been shuttered,
Yeah.
but nicely shuttered. I would imagine that by this point you've picked up something like Unseen Servant as a spell. So you see many invisible hands cleaning the place up, and drinks are being poured. Dwight, who pulls up in a first of all, yeah. So who pulls up in this fast, sleek, powerful-looking wagon being pulled by two enormous 1,000-pound apiece boar?
It's old Slaps Handfast here.
The corpulent tabaxi who is shockingly spry and light
Oh,
upon
yeah.
his feet. What
He'd be
color is your
amazed.
coat?
It's cat colored.
Cat colored. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So, black with splotches of white or something like that.
Sure.
And
Sounds great.
go ahead. What's that?
Good. But what actual color is he?
Black with splotches of white, I think I was told.
Unless that's just all the dust. You
Ooh,
realize that
maybe
he's
it's
covered in
white
black
with
coal.
really big splotches of black.
That's right. You see him, he's covered in black and white, and he kind of starts slapping at himself, and a lot of the black splotches become white, and a lot of the white becomes black, and you realize he was covered in coal and chalk dust and stuff.
Yeah.
So who else walks through the front door, Aaron Crossfield? Uh-oh, you're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Gotcha. Betcha comes in, and she is also covered with coal. She's just schmutzy all the time. It's because she's into fireworks and stuff, and not so much into cleaning. And she's a rock gnome, so she's used to being underground and dirty anyway. No big deal.
Excellent rock gnome.
And she is fabulously beautiful. Her nose is long enough that you can fit 6 different nose rings in one nostril.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
The envy of all the rock gnome ladies and the desire, the object of desire of all the lads. Love it. And let's see here. Finally, a enormous creature comes riding up on this just poor, pitifully beleaguered and worn out pony, and he hops off, and it is this like over 7 foot tall, 4 foot shoulder wide. What, Dave? What did the people see with wisps of smoke coming up off of his armor?
So Boog is a bugbear, and he climbs off of the, he's got this armor, right, and it's like this. It looks kind of nice. It's like a nice breastplate, and it's got some spikes, and it's smoking. And all the rest of him is like, he's got this ratty pair of pants, no shoes, and, this like ratty shirt popping out from underneath the armor. And he's got just this permanent scowling.
Which
all
is
the time.
Which is fearsome, because if you're wearing your helmet, are you wearing your helm? I take it you're probably not riding with it under your arm, right? His eyes glow as though with the fire of a furnace.
And to add to that, he's got like a big old cigar, and he's just chomping away on it. Sometimes he lights it up, but sometimes he just chomps it. And so when he comes up to the gate, he's got his battle axe over his shoulder, and as he walks up the stairs, like his toenails are just digging in to the wood, and he gets to the door, and steps into the foyer, like takes a step over the
threshold,
the threshold, and he looks around with the scowl on his face, and then he drops the axe on, so that the head hits the floor.
Oh yeah,
and goes, and then walks into the walks into wherever he's directed to go, to the meeting room, just dragging the axe all along the floor the entire way, and going chung, chung, chung.
You can see little toe marks that have been left into the
And
all right,
just tearing the floor up.
Boog, you walk into a room and you see probably the most beautiful dark gnome, under gnome you've ever seen, with just a nose full of glitter and glitz. A halfling who is dressed like some sort of fancy pirate lord or something. A gentleman in very fancy black garb. A tabaxi who is wearing, what kind of clothes, Dwight? What is Slaps Hamfast? How does he dress? Does he wear like a Western duster? Does he wear
like a rumpled suit on?
A rumpled suit. I love it. A rumpled tweed suit and a just as you, excuse me, kind of walk into the room. Do you announce yourself in any way?
No.
Wait, who?
No, sorry, Boog. Boog, do you announce yourself in any way? Because all these other people are here in this room.
Okay, yeah. He walks into the room. Is there like any, like, what's in the room? Is there like maybe a tea service or something?
Oh yeah, it's all set up with
yeah.
nice sliced meats and rolls and all kinds of. I mean, the pantries were fully stocked. I always keep them really stocked in this house.
There's definitely magic hands pouring liquor, and I'm drinking.
Yeah,
I've corralled one of them.
There's a, I don't know. Is there like a sideboard or something with some, I don't know, china or?
Oh yeah, there's an entire wall covered in family crest china that's like over 1,000 years old and bears the original honorific symbol of the family.
Yeah. So he walks through into the room, and he looks around. He goes, "Rrr." And then the china cabinet catches his eye. He walks over to the china cabinet and pries it open with a finger. And
all right.
What's right there in the middle?
What's right in the middle?
What's right in front of him?
There's an enormous platter that's meant for serving a particular type of pickled fish. It's got these long, thin slats in ridges in it, and you see it's covered in some sort of worked metal. And in the center, there's this beautiful gem inlaid raised family crest of something that you don't know.
All right. He leans his axe up against the wall, and he picks the thing up and like looks at it real hard for a minute. Got his cigar hanging out one side of his mouth. He looks at it for a bit, and then he turns around and drops it on the floor.
Harcourt immediately
and walks away towards the just like
Sure.
expecting something like that. Harcourt immediately slides over across the floor, grabs it, and puts it back into the case. Doing a sort of sleight of hand to
make me a sleight of hand with advantage because this was pretty foreseeable.
Yeah. 1 sec. Sleight of hand is right there.
Sparks.
With advantage. 25.
25. Yeah, you reach out, you snatch it, and you get it back. You close the cabinet.
Clearly, I see that he.
Oh no! With a 25, you just dropped it, and walk away, and he just makes it disappear. Man, you never hear it clatter. You can make me a perception check to see whether you notice that it doesn't clatter.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Okay, do that.
Let's see.
And I would like to see if he notices.
Perception. All right. Oh, what is that? That's a 10.
Okay, yeah, you're just kind of there's so many other shiny things. This is an incredibly interesting room. So anybody, you guys are all eating and snacking and drinking when you hear a dum 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 boom, and then you see the side of the building, the side of the room caves in, and there's an explosion of boards that splinter. And you see this figure go hurtling forward and land on its feet, and it goes, comes sliding on its feet, and you see someone turn and stand with creaking leather and gleaming, dull, dirty armor. Is Thak the Thunderer?
Can I attack him?
Fury in his eyes.
I want to attack him.
Do what you got to do, my man. Roll for initiative.
I roll with advantage because of my battle axe of warning.
Oh yeah, by the way, this battle axe that this bugbear has seems to be actively like glowing with magic energy. And when Thak comes in, you see it go and it's making this really intense, really not ignorable noise.
I got a 6, so
Okay.
Boog tries to get his axe up, but it like bangs against the table as he's pulling it up.
Thack, you see a bugbear that's about to attack you and
Wait,
clearly
Thack's
wants to.
initiative is 12.
Harcourt's
Okay.
is 27.
All right, Harcourt, you see that Thack is about to attack the bugbear who was about to attack Thack, and you've got a split second.
Yeah, Harcourt wants to.
Anybody else who wants to roll initiative, feel free to try to beat a 27.
How big?
I only rolled, and I got a 20. Not 27, 26.
Okay.
One.
All right.
How big is a bugbear?
He's
A
like
bugbear,
7 feet tall.
yeah, like Chewbacca.
Okay.
Picture
It's
Chewbacca,
big.
but wider at the shoulder,
Okay.
like more muscular.
And Harcourt's a halfling, so yeah, Harcourt's
yeah.
going to get a nice sprint, run up really fast, and climb the bugbear guy. I forgot his name.
Yep.
Boog.
Boog.
And start talking into his ear and say, "Hey, I'm really glad to have you here. I think we've got to calm down here, get everything ready. We're about to start the meeting, so no attacking, or you might not be in on this profitable endeavor." And at the same time, as he's,
I think that's about all you can say. What are you trying to accomplish with those words?
I'm de-escalating quickly.
Okay. Are you trying to persuade him to not attack?
No, that was more of a distraction. While
okay.
I attempt to fasten things, like basically tie his arm to his side.
Okay. Make me a sleight of hand check.
Okie dokie. 32. I'm a specialist. Sleight of
Boog,
hand.
can you make me a dexterity saving throw?
No.
I didn't think so, but I wanted to give you a chance. Oh my word. Okay, yeah. So we see Harcourt Fenton Mudd just surreptitiously produce this little spool of twine, what looks like twine, but really it's some kind of silk made from spider thread, some sort of thread made from spider silk that's really strong. And you see him just kind of, and he's just kind of like passing the spool around and kind of throwing it and catching it and twisting up. And Boog, you feel your arm is basically it's like the tendons in your arm have frozen. You just Gilead.
Sorry. Can I like
on your
stand
turn?
down?
On your turn, yeah.
Oh,
Gilead.
Okay.
You've got just a couple of seconds. Do you do anything in this split second of mayhem? You see Harcourt Fenton Mudd has tied up the bugbear.
Okay, I'm going to I'm just gonna cast invisibility and sort of put down my wine glass and just walk behind, just walk away.
File this under not my problem. Okay, excellent. Thack the Thunderer.
Okay, Thack. So
Yes. All this has happened in a split second. As you see the bugbear try to get its axe up. Go ahead.
I bust through the wall. I see a bugbear come at me. I see that Harcourt Fenton Mudd like darts around behind him, and I say, I walk up to the bugbear and I say, "Oh, hi, Harcourt," and then I put 2 fingers on the bugbear's forehead and just push him backwards onto the couch.
Now, Boog, you can make me another dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, I'll try with this one.
Thack, you can make me either an athletics or acrobatics check.
I failed.
Oh, okay. All right, don't worry about it, Thack. You're good.
Yeah, my athletics check is going to be a 23 for that
Sure.
2-fingered forehead push.
Yeah, with 2 fingers.
Like distracted by his arm being tied up, and he's like, "Wait, and so when Thack hits him, he just flails over backwards.
No, he doesn't. You don't get hit. It's just a forehead push.
Yeah. When you push him, he's kind of flailing already, and so he just lands on his butt.
Yeah, Mr. Goodbarrel, make me a dexterity saving throw or a sleight of hand check to see if you can keep your drink from spilling, because you're sitting on the couch that Boog is about to I don't know, maybe just like snapped the frame in half, but he's about to sit down next to you. So how do you protect your drink?
I just roll with the motion of the ocean,
Okay.
and I roll a 19.
Nice. Yeah. So you masterfully bring it up, and you see a drop of spirit come out of it, and you kind of get your mouth under it and catch it in your mouth. Beja, I don't know what choices you made to fall in with this group. You poor thing. But
in the meantime, I'm off in the corner and I got a case of the giggles and I'm just laughing at everybody.
Nice.
That's all.
Nice. Okay, Boog, there is now a rock gnome that's laughing at you, a half orc that has just put you on your butt, and a halfling that has tied you up. How you doing there, big guy?
And said that the meeting's about to start.
And said that the meeting is about to start.
Yes. He stares at Thak, who apparently isn't trying to kill him.
That's right.
And then he stares at Good Barrel. He kind of cocks his head over at the gnome in the corner who's laughing.
Right.
He goes, and starts laughing himself, but he looks awful because he's got that, say like,
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's got like incredibly just garishly long saber-like yellow teeth and breath that could knock over a troll.
Hey, Mud.
Y'all don't know my name yet.
Oh, I don't.
No.
Oh, he's just been recruited. Okay.
Yeah. Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Welcome to my home.
Let me out.
Sure. Are you gonna behave yourself?
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know. I saw some action happening. And Harcourt would like to surreptitiously, without him noticing, release him. Cut the ropes without him noticing.
All right, so you're just sitting there with this axe up above your head, asking to be let out, and eventually you realize you've got a little bit more freedom of motion than you noticed.
Yeah, he realizes it by, and the axe comes down and just straight into the floor.
Nice. Yeah, there was a coffee table there. Now there are two very nice, incredibly expensive pieces of firewood.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Mr. Harcourt Fenton Mudd, I'll tell you one last thing that you found in the kind of dossier folder. Down at the bottom, you found a small stone, and you did enough arcane digging and poking at it to realize that once you speak a command word, which is a rune that you can read, it will activate. And you get the sense that there's some sort of illusion magic tied to this. So,
it's in the vault or whatever.
It was in the leather script that contained all of the other paperwork.
Right, but the paperwork's referring to what's in the estate holdings of the guy.
Yes.
And what's the guy's name again? Remind me.
Duke Arlo.
Duke Arlo. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Josh. What Sir Robert is trying to make clear is Sir Robert looking at this object itself or a depiction of it in the document?
You have the actual stone. There's information about all these artifacts, and in addition to all the papers, the only other thing in there besides the papers was a single stone, and it's got this arcane rune on it.
Okay. Sounds good. Give me 1 sec.
Sure. Yeah, so Mr. Slaps Hamfast,
right.
You find yourself wondering why the heck you have been invited to a room full of violent degenerates.
Miscreants.
Miscreants. Do you have what's going
Hey,
on?
what am I doing here? I'm just trying to drink and there's dust and bears of bug types.
Do you say that aloud?
Yes.
Okay.
What's
Harcourt,
happening here?
Harcourt clears his throat and says, I can answer all your questions. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, so listen, I really appreciate your being here. There's a couple of you that I already know. Gilead, Sparkle, Thack, of course. A couple of you that I don't know. I'm sure you're all glad to be here. I'm definitely wondering why I invited you here. So let's get into it now. You, of course, those of you who know me. For those of you who don't, my name's Herbert Topsoil, and I have an important job for us to undertake, and it has the promise to be quite lucrative for each of us. And I am looking forward to the opportunity to share this opportunity with you all. However, we must act quickly. We must, in fact, act very quickly and undertake this endeavor immediately. Tonight, there is a client of mine. Hold on one sec, sorry.
Well, hey, if you want to act quickly, y'all should all just hop in my wagon. I can get you anywhere you want to go. Real quick. So quick.
Thack turns to the giggling rock gnome lady and says,
Okay.
"Hey, lady, what's your story?"
Now, wait a minute. Everybody keep your attention here, and Harcourt waves something shiny.
Oh, hey, okay.
And says, so we must leave this very night. There's plenty of profit in it for everyone. And we
I've
are
already left.
What's that?
I've already left.
Great. And we are to help a client of mine to retain, to reacquire some possessions that seem to have fallen out of his possession. So, first, before we go any further, I have this little gem here that I don't know. I guess I should use. And so Harcourt's just going to do it.
Okay, so he speaks the word, and out from the stone pops a minor illusion that's only a few feet in size. But what you're looking at is a presumably scale model of what looks to be the bottom few stories of a castle sitting on some sort of kind of rocky terrain. You see large granite boulder faces sticking out. This is not small, hilly. This appears to be at the foot of a mountain. And you even see a few kind of apertures in the rock, fissures and stuff like that. Excuse me. You see a couple of little parapets on top of this 3-story tower that is much wider than it is tall. And you see a large, heavy wooden door on either face of this tower. This wooden door seems to be big enough to pull a wagon or two through. And there's a road, a well-traveled road leading in and out of one side. The image, however, has a bunch of grass at the ground level, but the grass is translucent. You can see down. You can see that the building actually goes down into the mountain, into the roots of the mountain. And you see hot diggity dog. Now things are beginning to click, and Sparks is beginning to realize exactly why she's here. There seems to be 3 sub-levels. The building goes as far down underground as it does go up. And at the bottom of that bottom level is a vault, a big vault. And you see kind of a cartoonish, comical-looking lock symbol on the vault. But over to the side, you see a cartoonishly oversized drain grate. And you see water dripping down it. And as you follow it down, you see a black chasm down where the water falls in. And you see some sort of symbol that looks like monster or something. You see something that looks like a beholder that turns into some sort of squid-like thing that turns into just a giant alligator with 3 heads, and it's just kind of randomly rotating through monsters, and you see a little question mark over it. In addition to that, you see a shaft going off of the bottom 3rd floor that goes through the earth and then goes down into a room, and then there's another room off of that. So you get the idea that this guy has got a couple of warehouse chambers and one very protected vault down in here. So this is the schematic that you have obtained that gives you the general sense of the outlay of the building that you will be attempting to infiltrate. And I will let Harcourt Fenton Mudd take it away.
And so Harcourt, generally describes that and says, so here's what we're trying to get. This place down here, it has the items we've been hired to reacquire, I should say, and not least of which, and he points to Thack, not least of which, of course, is the musical instrument belonging to the illustrious Thack the Thunderer. It is that which makes him thunder. So we need to make sure we acquire that. Plus, and then I have a list of items.
Indeed.
Plus this list of items that we've got here, and in addition, as well, each one of you will be well compensated in the form of some illustrious gems and gold for your time and trouble. One night, a quick job, and we'll be done. And as soon as we get back here, I'll pay you all for your time and effort, and you'll be glad.
Well, all I have to say is I'm glad that guy's not thundering right now, because it seems like we shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you should be.
No,
and with
shouldn't.
that, the Pachycephalosaurus behind him that's got its head and neck stuck in goes and does a huge blow of air at the tabaxi.
And Harcourt wants to go over to the desk in the back of the room and look for any kind of stationery or like personal cards, business cards, calling cards, anything like that would have the seal of the house that we're in.
Yeah, there's a little hutch in 1 or 2 rooms over that's like a library / kind of business home office. And there is, in fact, some stationery, and you make me a perception check to search through, or I'll let you. Yeah, perception is fine.
Perception. Is it just a straight? Yeah. Also one of his specialties. It is a 28.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, you find the little safe in the floorboard underneath the floorboard, even though there's like a really easily findable in the wall safe that's got dummy stuff in it. You find his you find the deed to the title to the property, and you find like his little personal seal. You could basically completely rip off this guy's identity using this stuff that you found.
Harcourt's a specialist. He doesn't do anything else well, but the things he does well. Harcourt quickly grabs. Herbert quickly grabs everything out of some stationery, and he goes to a desk and scrawls out some brief instructions for each person about what item they're supposed to get. So if there's 6 or 7 items, each person gets one on their list. On the stationery, he grabs the seal, a little bit of sealing wax, seals it all, says, make sure you take this list with you. And it doesn't really matter if you accidentally leave it behind in the vault. It doesn't really matter.
Oh my gosh, you're a dirty, terrible, awful man. All right, the scene cuts back to the stone that is sitting on the one table that's still intact in this room that you monsters haven't destroyed. And we see Beja standing there scrutinizing the kind of the lower part. You don't really have to duck down low. You're already eye level with that part of the illusion, but you're inspecting it. Make me a nature or history check.
While she's doing that, Harcourt says, now Sparkle here, as you may have guessed, is our infiltration specialist, and will definitely be helping us to get in and out quickly and quietly. Explaining her role to everyone.
Hey, I'm not bad at quick
Aaron,
and
I think you're
quiet.
muted.
Yeah, Aaron, you are
Thanks.
muted and have been the whole time. So
That's all right. 4 with a +4, so an 8.
Can
An 8.
Thack help? Can somebody else help her?
indeed, you can.
Roll,
I'll
roll
help.
with advantage
I'm
because
very
Thack is helping you.
sneaky.
Yeah, Thack
Oh yeah,
comes
he
over.
should help.
What's
Thack
that?
is not helping.
Who
Thack
is?
is not helping. The Tabaxi is helping.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so
If I help, would it remove her advantage?
yeah, stay away. Slaps, you have actually done a little bit of underground racing, literal underground racing in your day.
Is it underground racing or just
Under
one
the
level?
surface of the earth, underground racing, and you walk over it and you
But
stick a paw
public.
and you
But
stick
it's
a
completely
paw in
above
here.
board.
Yeah. It's not. You stick a paw into the middle of the illusion, and Beja, roll that d20 one more time and see if you get a higher roll, because Slaps is pointing out something about these depicted tunnels.
Yep, this time it was a 13 with a +4, so 17.
Excellent. Yes. So you, Slaps says, what's Slaps? You recognize something about that tunnel, about the way that it's built, and it looks like one of the tunnels that you. It looks at least similar to some of the tunnels that you've raced in. So I don't know if you want to relay that information to Sparks yourself or not.
Hey, look at that tunnel. It reminds me of a tunnel I've raced in before.
I see exactly what you mean. It looks like it isn't a tunnel, it's completely filled, but it turns out that part of the tunnel has only been filled with loam, and we can make our way through it by just batting the soft dirt aside. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
you realize you ask for a map and you say, where is this thing on a map? And Harcourt Fenton Mudd produces a map of the area, and suddenly something clicks and you realize you know these tunnels. You haven't spent a lot of time in them, but some of these are actually, it would not take an insane amount. It would take you, I mean, come on. It would take a normal crew a long time to access these tunnels. But for you, that's a small thing. You know, poof, in a matter of a second, you could clear a passage and possibly have a halfway decent escape route that someone with a very, very fast vehicle would be able to get you all the way in.
Sparkle, you never disappoint. I'm always glad to have you on the team.
So I didn't. This is where I wish I could give you guys messages and let you reveal this information in your own voice, Aaron. I apologize, but yeah. So you guys have a notion that there might be a way to get a caravan up to and out through one of these tunnels. That is one possible way that you could do it. However, with a 17, you also know that that's not going to be without its own dangers. It's not like a walk in the park. There are other things that are down in those tunnels, and use them. So you would be going up against a different set of dangers.
So, Sparkle's going to be in charge of, getting us a good path in and out. And of course, I've brought Gilead here, a good friend of mine, who you can't do without him on a job like this. He comes prepared for every occasion to make light our load, and looks over at Flinzer Goodbarrel and says, and you are certainly here. I'm not. Who are you? You must be a friend of Gilead. I can tell by looking at you. I'd rather have a bottle in front of you than a frontal about you. So let's go ahead and move on. Slaps Hamfast. This guy is Mr. Hamfast. Also
Hop
known as
in my
Slaps.
wagon.
That's it. And basically describes what each person's there for. And then and the bugbear, right? And he's here because he's a bugbear. And
Sounds noisy.
and Thack is the only one who we can trust to be sure that we identify the key piece of treasure here.
Do you have some sort of bag that you can put those two in and keep them quiet?
Hey, Harcourt.
We'll figure it out.
Harcourt.
What's up,
I
Thack?
got a question. I got
You
a
talking
question.
to me, Herbert?
Yeah. Yeah, Harcourt, I'm talking to you.
What's up?
Is this legal?
I mean, legal enough for government work.
Okay. That's legal enough for my paladin oath.
Right.
That's legal enough for my paladin oath. My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think there is possibly a better bombshell on which to pause for just 10 minutes as some of us go make tiny people be unconscious and others of us, use the facilities and freshen up. Feel free to do the same, and we will see you back here around 9:10 p.m. And away we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of the one-shot Muds Baubles of the Starfall Collective. When last we watched our party, they were helping themselves to the many amenities and comforts of Lord Nobu's estate, presumably under the ownership of Harry Topsoil.
Herbert Topsoil.
Yeah, it didn't really work very well because that kept calling him Harcourt. But you guys have an opportunity to take in all this information and hatch a plan. What does that look like?
I'm thinking we should make use of your cart and speedy delivery creatures. I've forgotten what kind of creatures pull your cart. Thank you.
Boars.
And get there, get it done tonight. Get out.
That. Yeah, we're on the road. We've already left. Everybody's in the wagon, talking in the wagon.
Okay, so you guys are bumping along, and actually, it's surprisingly smoother than you would think a normal wagon is. You look over and you see some kind of fancy gizmo that's attaching the wheel to the rest of the cart, and it looks like it's keeping the cart from shaking quite so violently. It's very fancy.
Wait, did we get to burn the house down on the way out?
Nope, we've already left. Too bad.
The camera might cut back at some
Next
point.
time.
However, I would like to think that Boog would avail himself to the door that Honey Badger made, because it's a door that's actually big enough for him. It would be comfortable to leave through. Excellent. So you guys are trundling along at high speed in the direction of Duke Arlo's holding facility. What does that conversation look like as you discuss the plan?
All right, big guys. You're going to do your thing in the most obvious way possible. I think at ground level, probably. And
make some noise.
Boog looks at Dak and says, I think we can do that.
I think you can too.
I think you've done that.
Thanks.
This location has my rightful property inside of it. I am capable of making a great deal of noise outside their gate.
Nice.
That's nothing compared to the noise you'll get once you get your guitar back.
Indeed.
Hey, Mr. Fancy Elf, what are you bringing to the table?
Well, I brought quite a few things, actually. I have this, and I pull out a small, it's like a cube. It's a small cube. It's completely black with little carvings of stone and various materials.
Runes and symbols and stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. And I say, this is only for use in the worst case scenario. We get trapped, cornered, encounter demon that may or may not be summoned in any way possible. So, yes, this will summon an earth elemental of my personal design, and it will distract whatever threat is threatening us.
Excellent. The camera pans over to Mr. Flinster Goodbarrel, and I take Mr. Goodbarrel is partaking of something over in the corner.
Having a little nip.
And you see Harcourt turn to Flinster with kind of a, and you, sir, what will you be contributing?
Well,
sorry, Harcourt, I had to commandeer you for narrative purposes.
Yeah. Well, I can tell a story, and I am generally good at making things work out pretty well for us.
Everyone kind of looks at him like, okay, all right, okay.
Quite a good story and well told.
Oh, thank you.
Boog puts an arm around his shoulder and says, I think you should come with us.
I persuade you that that's true. with my roll of a die.
So you guys all get.
I'm happy to go on either side. That sounds great to me.
One of the
I'll
things.
go with them.
One of the things that Slaps, one of the things that you have is a leather bag full of these little spheres that appear to be like balls of yarn or twine or something. And each one has a little red tab at the end. And you know that if you throw one of these off the back of your cart and hold on to that tab, things will happen. It's not always exactly the same thing that happens. It's a bit of a grab bag you got, but you got a really good price on these. So consider these miscellaneous effect caltrops, and we'll have to see based on table rolls what exactly they do. You also Harcourt produces little earpieces for each of you guys that you're able to stick in your ear, and these are stones of sending, so you'll be able to chat with each other during the course of events. So you'll be connected to one another via these little stones of far speech in your ear.
Thank her.
Wow, these are expensive.
Harcourt,
Nothing's too good for my team.
If you don't return those to the person from whom you borrowed them, bad things will happen. So
Sure.
Just letting you know. Those are on loan. Very good. So you guys, Sparks, you know that there is a particular area that you are pretty sure you'll be able to find a tunnel that will lead to the tunnel system that you need to get this cart into. But you're going to need to find an appropriate entry into this tunnel that will be, actually accessible to this cart. So I need you to pull your gnome cunning and stone prowess together and make me either a nature or a history check to try to find that aperture. Anyone who thinks they could help her.
Sure, I can't do perception.
What Thack
You
is,
could, yeah.
Thack is idly strumming on just the littlest, tiniest little mandolin that he has, and just the little tune that he's playing is very encouraging, and she gets bardic inspiration. So whatever you roll a D8 and add that to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Harcourt is extraordinarily perceptive and is happy to collaborate.
Yeah, a perception check will be coming, but in order to find the right place to make these perception checks, you'll need to decide, are you going to try to show up and read the rocks and read the land and try to use nature and just raw splunking abilities? Or do you want to make a history check to try to remember the systems of tunnels and the events that have brought you into contact with them to try to remember an appropriate location?
Sure, I'll remember.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
And you've got a bard helping you and a bunch of other people who know the area. So if you're kind of muttering out loud to yourself, I'll say that there's any number of opportunities for you to have advantage on this check.
Okay.
Because you've got a whole team of people.
Fabulous. Well, my first effort was a 16 plus 4.
And then roll a D8 and add that to that 20.
Okay.
And there were tunnels all around.
2 plus 4, 6. So got a 26 total.
Okay, 26 is more than enough. You go, yes. Okay, so you remember, everybody else plug your ears. I'm going to give Erin this information and she can relay it to you. You remember that there is a cave-in of actually a really nice accessible tunnel that that if you blast that cave-in, you'll have direct access to the other tunnels. So, but you need to find it. So, okay. All right.
Alrighty. So I remembered it was from a previous spelunking adventure in a neighboring land, same architect. Water trouble, drainage problem. There was a cave-in for the
one of the racing circuits.
Sure. There we go. Thank you. And And this tunnel castle very likely had the same architectural problem, so it's now filled in. But I have explosive stuff, so if we can blast our way through there, we're going to be like 20 feet from the main vault and 70 feet in either direction from the two warehouses.
So as you guys get closer to this location, you see that there are actually a bunch of cave structures, and you see other rock gnomes, and you see halflings, you see some humans, you see kind of a mixed set of races that live in these kind of huts built off the side of these cliff faces, that they seem to be using these tunnels as their homes, these caves and whatnot. But down at the base of the kind of cliff face with all these tunnels and holes, Sparks, you see the very set of tunnels that you want to get into, and you realize that there are a lot of other people in this area, and some of them are have little shops and huts and stalls set up, and some of them are selling little multicolored flags, and you realize that there's a little underground racing camp set up here, and that the place that you want to get in is actually part of the tunnel system for the race course. And right now there are a bunch of like pickets and barriers and crates and stuff that look like they're blocking off the opening to the tunnel. And you see a bunch of pickets and whatnot. So you're going to need to find some way in. Fortunately, it looks like in about an hour, a race is going to pop off here.
And we have Slaps, who knows his way around that arena, right?
Yeah, you do. And as soon as some of these people see Slaps, you see one guy just throw his hands up and start hissy fitting, and he just takes his cart and he just starts whipping his mules and he just leaves. And apparently he just gives up because he thinks that Slaps has arrived to race, and he's not even going to bother. Slaps, who's your arch nemesis in the Underground Racing League?
Chortle McSniffersnout.
Chortle McSniffersnout, the turtle, is driving a cart that is being pulled by some what look like oversized Nile monitors or Komodo dragons. These reptiles that have extremely powerful legs, and he's driving what looks to be not much more than a sled. It doesn't even have wheels. It's just got these low friction slats on the underside. And a gnome comes walking up to you and says,
"You've got a lot of nerve after the violations you committed in the last set of rounds. I told you that you were banned for life, sir. For life! And don't give me any of that 9 lives crap."
Oh, that's the one I was gonna use.
Because he's a cat.
Yeah, it's the one that you used last time before we came to agreement.
Subtract 1 life from whatever number I used last time and use that number this time.
So he says, that was the excuse you used last time before we came to our agreement. Anybody who wants to make an insight check, feel free.
Sure, I'll make an insight check.
All right.
Are we?
I roll an 8.
Yes, I was hoping you would roll incredibly low. You stare at him, and he's just being difficult. He's just being this fussy, fastidious little bother. Gilead.
I rolled a 23.
Yeah, you realize you watch the man's hand get held out flat when he says an agreement, and you realize this guy's literally looking to, have his palm not greased, not literally greased, but he's looking for a handout or a bribe or something.
And I just whisper under my breath, this kind of person. There's one in every underground segment.
Hardcore rolled a 9.
Okay.
But is totally up for greasing a palm.
Yeah. Flinser, is it Flinser or Flinster? LT, you're muted. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Flinser.
Flinser. Okay. Yeah. Flinser, This guy is looking to be persuaded. Yeah.
So I'm just going to go up to. Is there some object I can start talking about that he's carrying?
Sure. Yeah, he's got a clipboard that seems to be kind of a whole like thick binder thing full of papers and entries for the race and everything.
What's the clipboard made of?
It's made of leather.
Okay, so I go up and talk to him and start telling him about how that's a fine leather clipboard, and I've seen one just like it in my travels. And I start just basically distracting him, and eventually my story gets around to, listen, he'll pay you after we win the race.
After we win the race. Have you seen the turtle's new rig?
Oh, no.
He's been feeding the... Listen, between you and me, if I were to receive certain compensations, I might even be willing to share certain details about some of the other contestants. But of course, I don't know what I'm saying. I couldn't possibly share anything that would violate the sacred oath of the race officiator.
Harcourt wants to take advantage of the distraction and see if there's anything in his pockets to lift.
Yeah, he's thoroughly distracted. Flinser has totally engrossed this guy and given another opportunity to be bribed, and the story... the weaving story has sucked him in.
Mm-hmm.
So
roll me that sleight of hand.
Yeah, Harcourt's going to pat him on the hip or whatever he can reach and say, "Hey, you listen to this guy. This guy." But while he's doing that, of course, he's looking through his pockets. Should I roll?
Sure.
Harcourt or Thack sees
21.
Hears this and rolls a very good insight check of 22, and then comes up to the man and says, "You should not take bribes. You should be honest in all your dealings."
And he like freaks out, and he's like starts like begging you to be quiet.
Sir,
you misunderstood me. I apologize.
very
What I meant to say
dishonorable.
was, if you pay the official race fee, I will be more than happy to.
And he starts flipping through his papers, and you see a couple of other race
Harcourt
cars
says,
like looking over.
"Hey, Thack, that's exactly right. But did I see somebody vandalizing something over there?" Just points to a random spot.
Yeah.
And says,
"Wait, where?"
And sends Thack off. And also, I rolled a 21 on my sleight of hand to pick his pocket.
Which is nice because you've got plenty of trifle to give him whatever bribe he wants and plenty left over to keep.
Yeah, he says,
if you'll just pay the 50 gold for the entrance fee.
and Harcourt, you can count money just by the jingle. You give it a little heft, and you're like, "That's 49? Oh man, this guy just got ripped off. That's crazy." So you've got a bag of 49 gold in your hand.
And I tell them, you know what? I was thinking 49. Sorry, I was thinking 40 sounds like a more reasonable fee for a veteran like this. And I'm motion to Good Barrel there to help me persuade him of that. 40 gold.
yes, of course. Only reasonable. There's a 17.
So Flinster, you made a 17 to convince him that that's an acceptable amount to receive. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see his eyes narrow, and you see he's just. You see he's just deeply conflicted about not getting that last 10 gold, and and he's like,
Fine, I'll take the official bargain amount.
and he takes that bag of 40 gold, and you see him for a sec look at it, and he's like, but he's too flustered, and he just puts it away. And you see him fill out a piece of paper, and he fills it out top and bottom. And you see him draw this elaborate shape on it, and then he rips the piece of paper in half and hands half of it to you, slaps, and says,
Best of luck. There's a bonus kitty today. I hope... bonus kitty. I just heard it. Anyway, best of luck to you.
And he turns to walk away.
And Harcourt shakes Flinsner's hand and slips him 2 gold.
Nice. Flinster, you immediately equate that to that's like 2 nice bottles of sake right there. Excellent. So you guys have a little bit of time to get the wagon ready, and you realize it's going to be a bit of a challenge to even get through the pack. So Slaps, you start, captaining the ship, and you start telling people how to basically get you guys far enough into the race to be able to peel off at the point that Rose is going to point out. Slaps, do you instruct anybody to do anything in particular or put anybody in any particular place on your wagon?
Everybody think Finn.
Rose looks at you and just kind of like throws a hand up in the air and does a little twirl, and she obviously weighs about like 2 feathers. So no, not Rose, Beja. Thak, your Pachycephalosaurus is kind of like snorting and starting to kind of get a little bit aggressive with some of the other creatures that are pulling some of the other carts.
If we're in a sort of official like racing event, I'm definitely going to find the stables and pay to board Honey Badger for the duration.
You could just attach him to the front of the wagon.
No, he would just smash everything to splinters as soon as it got crazy. Yeah, Honey Badger is going into the stables for the duration of this this event. And I think also that Thak is going to start getting the crowd ready and just sort of bardically preparing them with some tunes so that the crowd will be on our side. And this is going to be a performance check of 24.
Nice.
To hype the crowd for the Tabaxi Taxi.
Oh yeah, everybody is shouting Tabaxi, 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 Taxi, Tabaxi, Taxi, and you've got a little song that they're singing. Slaps, you've been popular before. You've had your day, but you haven't.
This.
What's that?
Nothing like this.
Nothing like this. You've never had a crowd. So what does he do? Does he respond to the crowd's adulation and love?
He turned slightly red underneath his fur.
All right, excellent. You see little pink spots appear on his white whisker cheeks.
And when Harcourt sees that they're the crowd favorite for sure, he goes out and as much as he possibly can bets against.
Because you know that he's not going to finish.
He's not going to finish.
Right. You get amazing odds. There are a lot of people that are whipped up into an absolute frenzy. Make me a diplomacy or make me a persuasion check.
Ooh, that is not a strong suit, but I will try it. Let's see. Persuasion.
You've got Flinster. You see Flinster.
Luke, 21.
Luke, 21. Excellent. Flinster, you see what Harcourt is doing. Do you jump in on this monetization of the moment at all?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm just following him along. He looks lucky.
You see that there's this tent of very wealthy young elves, guys that you see. They've even got a couple of bodyguards that are kind of keeping the riffraff away from them. And your keen eye spots an extremely expensive uncorked bottle of elven wine.
I'll take one of those.
So how do you try to get into the tent?
Let's see. Boy. I'm just going to walk over there and start talking to him.
Nice. All right. So
like I belong there.
Okay. You walk over and start chit-chatting with the guard. One of them has got a really nice sword, like an incredibly nice sword. That's probably the most noticeable that he's got. Just saying, going with your theme of chit-chatting people up.
So I start telling him a rambling story about a similar sword that I've seen somewhere. And
he gets really mad because he doesn't like the idea that you're comparing his one-of-a-kind sword to another one that you've seen.
No, his is certainly much finer. But has he ever done this and that other thing with it? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not good with the actual.
Yeah, he starts telling you all about all the duels that he's been in with this sword. Make me an insight check.
Insight. Yes, that one. 6.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So you're going along with this guy's story, but as he's chit chatting with you,
We're walking inside.
yeah, you start kind of like walking inside while he's talking, and suddenly you realize that all of the other elven lords have already had quite a bit of this wine, and none of them even really noticed that one of their bodyguards and some random, seemingly homeless person is, what was your outfit like, or how nicely
It's like
dressed?
it's like a kind of regular sailor kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe like an open vest and bandolier and a hat and a ragged pants. Not ragged, but working pants.
Okay. So as you're standing there chit-chatting with the guy and helping yourself to this bottle of wine, which you pour, you see the guard is about to protest, and you pour a glass for
offer him
him
some,
as well.
of course, as well.
Yeah, and the two of you kind of turn your shoulders away from the elven lords and begin enjoying this. You overhear the elven lords talking about the fact that the turtle with the oversized reptiles for mounts is planning on feeding them a particular type of fruit that is highly illegal to feed your mounts in this circuit. So do with that what you will with that information.
I think I would eventually when I get back, I'll talk to some of the guys about that.
Okay, so you make your way back over.
Okay.
Thack has been performing for
That's
the
the guy I
crowd.
would tell it about.
Yeah, and it's minutes to go before the race, and you guys all have to kind of mount up on the wagons. And in the bustle, as you guys are all walking around, tightening down straps, and you see Slaps is just doing the last check over. You see him kind of rubbing down his pigs. Slaps, do you have any kind of ritual that you do immediately before you race?
No, I just think about what time it is and the time on the clock.
Okay, it's nothing but the time. You live your life one hourglass flip at a time. Very good. You guys are all standing around tightening up the straps when Flinster shares this information with you guys.
I'm sorry, are you informing us that our opponent intends to cheat at the race? Because that is simply unacceptable. I will go and have a word with the officials concerning this. And Thack goes to look to see whoever is in charge.
I would like to come to his shoulder and say, "Oh, no, you are mistaken. Being a paladin of law and order, it is only right for us to enforce upon this meek, disgusting individual a righteous action. So I say we fight fire with fire. I am willing to stow in the cart or...
Can I provide the fire?
Huh?
Beja appears out of nowhere with sparks coming out of her fingers.
Boog's eyes light up.
That's right. Boog puts on his helm, and his eyes
he
erupt
looks,
into.
He looks over at Beja and
Thack will have to be convinced of this by some sort of contested check.
Okay. Jakob, make Gilead Blackgallow convince Thack to come around to your way of thinking. Make me a persuasion check, and do it with advantage because you've got everybody else around you suddenly realizing that this whole plan is about to blow up, literally.
And what should Thack roll?
Thack should roll make me just a straight will check.
What's will?
Roll a d20 and add your will modifier.
Wisdom. The word will does not appear. Okay.
Add wisdom modifier.
16.
16?
Total?
Yeah.
16.
I rolled a 16 too.
And do you have any bonuses to that?
No, that's with bonuses. That's
so that he wins because he overcomes my resistance.
He initiated the check.
Just barely. I don't know about this. This doesn't seem quite right, but I know I'm not the smartest guy around, so I guess if you say so.
Yeah, Thack, you immediately think back to lessons with Abrexalor about unorthodox re-equilibrations of dynamic systems. It went, but you realize this sounds like, I think you know what the word equilibrium means. This is balancing. Okay, okay, all right, okay. You weren't paying
Definitely
attention.
unorthodox.
All right, excellent. So you guys all climb onto the cart, and it's seconds to go. Any spells that you want to cast or wards that you want to get, whatever, need to happen.
How far are we from the other, the turtle guys?
The turtle guy, you guys are at the back of the pack. The turtle guy has the pole position. He's earned it. He's out front. So you know that he is counting on this initial burst of speed. Harcourt, does anybody do anything surreptitious in the last few seconds?
I'm going to prepare a 3rd level spell of mine.
Nice.
Which, will become evident soon enough.
Okay, very good. You see that same little gnome get up there, and he's got this long tube with a little dangly T-bar handle connected to a string that goes up inside the tube. You see him walk up, and he says,
Racers, on your marks.
Josh. So while everybody's been doing their preparations and whatnot, Boog's just kind of been sitting there looking bored, chewing on his cigar, smoking, flicking ashes at various things that might, possibly catch on fire.
There's a halfling child with a straw hat that you flick a particular chunk of cinder onto, and you watch the kid walk off with smoke rising out of his hat.
So none of the other guys are really paying much attention to Boog, right? Because he's just sitting there. All right. At the last second, before the racers go, and he wants to try. I guess I should make a stealth check for this, right?
Sure. That sounds like the kind of thing we do in D&D.
I mean, he doesn't want he's kind of casually doesn't want anyone else in the group to see what he's doing.
Okay.
So, stealth?
Sure.
Oh gosh, he's got disadvantage because of his armor. Stupid armor.
Not to mention you have flaming eyes, smoking armor, and an axe that's constantly going.
Yeah.
And as race time gets closer, the axe is now going. It sounds like an angry pixie and a chainsaw together.
Yeah, it's really good for getting that engine revved. I got a 13.
Okay, and what are you trying to accomplish?
I noticed.
Yeah, pretty much everybody kind of notices you do what?
Oh. Well, really? Is that do I realize that everyone's looking?
No,
at me?
you don't. You do it anyway.
That's
Failure
way
is
under my
beautiful,
passive
Dave.
perception.
That's okay. There are a bunch of other people
Well,
with it.
as the when the race starts, Boog is gonna just sort of casually drop his earpiece.
Ah, okay. Very good. Okay. So
Harcourt wants to pick it up.
Harcourt, you see in a split, make me a perception check, right? Because you said that your passive perception was below 13.
No, it's way above 13.
Oh, okay, yeah. You've got a split second to react. Make me a sleight of hand check.
17.
And make me an acrobatics check.
I'm just going to do that in D&D Online here.
Okay.
Tricky situation. And I get 2 rolls.
Okay.
Because of a feat.
Okay.
17.
Nice. You barely snatch this earpiece. You see a tiny little halfling hand come shooting out from the underside of the cart, and you see a tiny little halfling body hanging from the bottom axle, and you see him slip, and one foot falls and hits the ground, and he holds onto this grip, and he scrambles back up into the cart.
Can I catch him and pull him back up into the cart?
If you make me a perception check.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Oh man, I got an 11.
Yeah, you kind of
I'm
smile to yourself. You intentionally dropped this thing, right?
Kinda.
Yeah, you kind of smugly
just like,
smile to yourself as you get away with this, as you drop the earpiece. And once again, in the raucous din of people shouting and screaming and animals making noises, you don't hear the lack of a as the earpiece.
He stopped paying attention to it.
All right, and with that, the the gnome officiator says,
Gentlemen, ladies, give me a good, clean room. I'm just kidding. There's no rules. Go for it.
and you see this shower of confetti and this loud bang come out, and you see up ahead of you these two lizards. Their legs literally just start scrambling and digging into the dirt, and you see dirt flying back off underneath their legs, and you see the cart take off. Mr. Slaps Hamfast, give me an animal handling check, if you will.
Ooh, I will. 18.
18, excellent. You actually immediately kind of juke around 2 or 3 slower carts, and you make your way into the middle of the pack, like in the initial chaos of the takeoff. As you're going past a couple of other carts, one that's covered in halflings with nets and tridents, they begin jabbing at you guys and trying to throw nets at you. Does anybody engage with these halflings that are trying to entangle you guys?
Not yet.
Not yet. Thack.
Can I break something on their chariot?
Yeah, they're close. You can attack something with your axe.
I will take a. Can I hit one of the wheels?
Thack wants to act before that.
Okay, you two both roll me initiative real quick. Just the two of them are going to respond.
21.
21?
I got a 15.
Okay, Thack, what do you do?
They're within 60 feet of me.
Oh, they're within like 10 feet of you.
The driver of the cart needs to make an intelligence saving throw.
Wow. Well, Thack, this man utterly, his mind completely shatters and crumbles, not into sand, but into ash. And that ash is blown away with the wind. You have complete and utter domineering effect upon his mind. What happens to this poor man?
So the spell Phantasmal Force does not create a mere visible illusion, but it knits into the person's belief system itself.
That they've been
so
pushed.
The target genuinely believes
Yeah.
that in front of the cart is a wall.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. You see the man just
in front of their own cart. And for the next 1 minute, anytime this individual tries to move their cart forward, they're going to perceive and genuinely believe that they cannot do so. They have to stop immediately.
Right. Oh yeah, you see him just yank back on the reins, and Boog.
And Thack says,
"Go ahead.
Those tridents are not very sportsmanlike."
Boog, you've got a split second to take a swipe at these guys as they go rushing backwards as they hit the brakes.
So can I use reckless attack?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Well, when you make your first attack on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly, giving you advantage on weapon attack rolls. The strength. So I get.
And you have a great weapon mastery. So if you take a -5 to that attack, you can do +10 damage if you want.
Well, I also have extra attack, so I'll just swing twice.
Sure.
Boog hops up on the rail of the chariot and like leans out off the side and takes a big swipe with the axe.
Yeah, you can imagine how long the arm of a bugbear is.
Oh yeah, he's got extended reach too.
Yeah, not only is he 7.5 feet tall, his arms are long for a creature of his height, and so this enormous sweeping arc of an axe comes shattering into the wheel. Roll me the attack.
He yells, "Back off, you hedge pigs!" And he swings. That's a pretty good one. So the first one is math 24.
Excellent. The wheel explodes into splinters. And so as the guy is braking, you see one side of the cart lurch into the ground and he veers off to the left. And just as you guys clear him, this cart T-bones is the top of the T for another cart behind that. And then you see a pileup. So basically, all the carts behind you guys crash into this cacophonous din. So you are now at the back of the pack yet again, but a much smaller one.
Can I flick my as we pass the wreck? Can I flick my
cigar?
Flick my cigar at it.
Sure. Somebody roll me a d20 of chaos.
I will.
Okay. Gilead.
15.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, it's good. The pileup occurs, and you see a bunch of jars of liquid and crates of sticks of explosives and things like that. Dirty implements of war that everyone else was carrying on their cart, and you see them all kind of spill out and erupt into the raceway. And you see drivers pointing at each other, saying, "I can't believe you would break the rules." Me, you're the one with the, snap bombs. I can't believe you would bring those to something on this. And they're all kind of arguing with each other.
Did I light anything up?
You did not. The cigar landed on the ground. You see it just a mere inches away from a pool of alchemical fire. And then
fireball. I mean,
what's that?
Could I?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just
yeah, and with that,
right where the cigar landed, so it looks like he did light something on fire.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, very good. You can even prestidigitate it. You can just do a snap of a spark of flame. And you guys see this enormous and this giant crater forms in the earth. And you see these people and carts and animals go flying in all directions and land on the ground. And you see monks and priests come running over, laying hands on them and healing them and stuff. You see one guy who's like, I ain't paying the fee. I'm fine. He goes hobbling away on one leg. And that is where I'm afraid we will have to pause with our intrepid and bold crew at the back of the pack, heading into the tunnels, which they will have to navigate, hopefully with Rose. I keep trying to call you Rose, with Beja navigating at Slap's side, and Thack and Boog swinging large weapons, and Flinster and Harcourt and Gilead attempting to keep all of these hooligans and ruffians in some form of order. And next week, we will see just how the heist goes. Please, I entreat you to join us next week. Until then, remember, ladies and gentlemen, failure is beautiful.